I wasn't always a confident person. I've never liked my ears. I didn't like my pale skin. What am I doing? Like, sometimes it just takes one person, whether it be a loved one, a friend, a partner. Everyone's picture of beauty and like optimal look is so different. You won't be everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're the only person that has to spend forever in your mind and body, and you're the only one that has to like it.
I mean, if that's not confidence, what is confidence? Like, you look amazing.
Where dreams take flight, we chase the moments into the light.
Welcome to the Camo Talks, guys, where we talk about healing and wellness and every little thing in between. My guest today is a very, very special guest. I've been waiting for her to come for like a while now, and finally it's happening. Not only I work with her, she's also shared the same passion with wellness and health. She's also a teacher, a role model, and a literal model. We'll talk about that even more. And you just exude this charisma, this charm, this confidence, class. Jess Moseley, welcome to the Camo Talks podcast.
Thank you, Abby. Wow, what an intro.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. We finally made it work after a
I
long
know,
time.
after so many times.
Crazy schedules.
I know. I hope you're excited.
I am.
I wanted to focus on confidence and owning who you are.
Okay.
I think
I love that topic.
it's really, I feel like it's easier
Said than done.
said than done. I feel like there's a lot of inner work that you have to do to get to that stage of, I know who I am and this is who I'm going to be, and I'm just going to be confident about it. So before we get there, talk us through a bit about you, like how you got to this nursing life, your childhood, maybe like were you born in Hamilton? What led you to where you are right now?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Jessica Moseley.
Yeah.
I often go by Jess because I'm a pretty informal, easygoing person. So I prefer
Yes.
Jess. I
Yes.
was born and raised in Hamilton. My grandparents lived in Ancaster. So I kind of spent most of my time with them growing up as a child. I went to McMaster for nursing. And then I started my work about 7 years ago at St. Joe's on the thoracic and head and neck surgery floor.
That was 7 years ago already.
I know.
Wow.
Like, it's crazy. I was thinking the other day, like, when did I start nursing? And I'm like, 2018. Yeah, 7 years ago already. So
Yeah.
time flies when you're having fun. And
Yeah.
then from there, I did my master's degree. I did a Master of Science in Nursing. And then with that, I began teaching for the university clinical students, like nursing students.
Wow.
And found a huge passion for both working bedside and teaching kind of concurrently. I liked being able to work bedside and keep my practice current while also being able to teach the students the current practice, which I figured that gave them a lot of benefit.
Right.
I debated going into NP school for a little while, decided it wasn't quite for me. Have been very happy with my combined role since.
Yeah, and it shows. You're so
Thank
radiant,
you.
and you
Thanks.
just when you see people enjoying what they do, you can tell, right?
Yeah, I
and
do love what I
I
do.
always see that with you, and I appreciate that. So we do work side by side, me and Jess, at a surgical program at St. Joe's, and she also teaches students. So were you always this confident? Like, how do you define confidence?
Trust in yourself and trust in your abilities and your capabilities and what you bring to the table and your potential. Being comfortable in your own skin also plays a big role in this. And I think confidence is something that you, like you said, you kind of have to do the inner work or build your way up to that point. I wasn't always a confident person, definitely not.
Really?
I think I definitely have had periods in my life that have kind of brought the confidence out of me more than others, and I can touch on that a little bit later. But yeah, that to me is what confidence is.
Tell us more about when you said you were never really like. If there's an example that you went through that you didn't feel like, what did that look like?
So even the example of like nursing, take that for example, like a new job or any sort of career pathway starting. I felt a lot of imposter syndrome when I first started nursing. And you might have felt the same thing when you first started nursing. Like it's very much a big, oh my gosh, what am I doing here? Like, is this for me?
Yeah.
Am I cut out for this? I remember vividly walking down the hallways many times and I would have this intrusive thought of, oh my gosh, I'm doing
Am
it.
I enough?
Like I'm doing
Am
it.
I
I'm
capable?
nursing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, and when I started teaching, my first day with my first group of students, I was like, what am I doing? Like, what do I have to give these students? Like,
Yeah.
what can I teach them that they don't already know?
Right.
And I think by just diving 2 feet in and just doing it, I realized that, okay, I actually do know more than I thought I did. And just going through the motions, you can share with them your experiences and what you've done along the way, and what you've seen, what you have to share with them. And it's a lot more than I realized at first. And so I think those were 2 moments I remember being not very confident in my practice abilities.
Right.
Another one I remember was, so I started doing like fitness and modeling kind of concurrently. I started with the fitness industry and then bodybuilding, and then kind of got into modeling through that avenue.
I mean, if that's not confidence, what is confidence? Like, you look amazing with every shoot.
Thank you. Yeah. I do think, shout out to hair and makeup, makes a big difference. Honestly, when you look good, you feel good. I really believe in that. But I think one thing I remember was I've never really liked my hair up. I've never liked my ears. And I did a photo shoot years ago with this photographer. Shout out to Coco King.
Got a shout out. We'll put the link down there.
We had a photo shoot many years ago in Ottawa, and at this point I hadn't met her personally, but I followed her on Instagram and she followed me, and whenever she has a shoot with somebody, she goes all out. She plans all the different shots to get, different locations, different looks, makeup look, wardrobe, whatever. And I said, I'll give you full control, do whatever you want to do. So her plan was to literally she said, I'm taking you right out of your comfort zone. All my shoots at that point had been like hair down, kind of the volume, the waves, the normal glam that everyone's used to. And she's like, that's boring. I want your hair up. Yeah. I want an edgy look. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Her work. Is it her? Sorry.
Yeah, it's her. Yeah.
Her work is, I've seen
amazing. Some
of the photos. I'm like, this is like top of the line, like work,
So I was like, when she told me this is, at this point, I was like in my Airbnb in Ottawa the night before our shoot with Trevor, and she was sending me videos. She was like, I'm going all out, like out of your comfort zone. We're going to do hair up, sleek back. And I was like, oh my God. Like at this point, I hated my ears and I hated my hair up. And I was just like, oh my gosh.
So you felt kind of...
I was like so nervous.
Right.
So nervous. But then I started shooting with her, and she just brought... and I also don't like... I didn't like my pale skin. I'm very fair skin, in case you haven't noticed. And for a while I always wanted to like do like a tan or something for photo shoots, and her specific instructions were, do not tan before the shoot. I want you in your normal and in your own skin. And I was like, oh my gosh, like this is right out of my comfort zone. This is not what I ever do for a photo shoot prep. Like, what are you doing? And I come all this way, and like she's someone you really want to shoot with. So I was so unsure what was going to happen,
and you've already come like a long way,
right? Yeah. And it ended up being one of the most, I think, empowering moments of like, it was pivotal in that she just made me feel so beautiful in my own skin and appreciate my own skin, literally, and just my own self, more than anybody ever else had. And I don't know why sometimes it just takes one person, whether it be a loved one, a friend, a partner. In this case, it was her, and it just changed my whole perspective of like, wow, I am beautiful. And it really kind of brought me totally out of my shell. And I have her to thank for it, honestly.
And I feel like she's still your photographer to this day, right?
And everyone who shot with her has said similar things, in that she really makes you appreciate who you are. And she herself, she's very eclectic. She's very unapologetically herself, out of the box. Absolutely. And I think she pulls that out of people and makes them feel so comfortable in themselves, which I think is something that is so rare these days, but it is so needed in our society.
Yeah. Because I also feel like with a lot of photographers, it's very choreographed. It's very much like they tell you what to do. I'm sure there's element of that with that, but she kind of... the focus is more on you and how you want it to kind of go. Is that how her work
Definitely.
is?
So she had a lot of things in mind. And as you start shooting with her, so whenever you start a photo shoot, you always start like a little bit kind of stiff because you're getting warmed up still. And then she'll show you shots as you're going through, and you're like, wow. And that kind of probably inspires you to... so much. It makes you're like, wow, it fires you up. You're like, oh my God.
Okay, more.
Yeah, let's do some more. And I remember her making comments throughout as we were gymming it, like, oh my God, I love her skin. She even said some weird things. Like, I just want to take it off and wear it. And
my God.
So, like, throughout the shoot, we're laughing. We're having a great time. Yeah. I'm so comfortable because she's so funny and like down to earth and just really such a person that I just really, really vibe with her. And it was like the best shoot ever, honestly. And everyone after that has been equally as amazing.
And I want to circle back to when you mentioned you didn't feel comfortable because of your pale skin.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this about Filipinos, but we like to be pale skin.
I didn't know that, actually.
It's like our definition of beauty is
Okay.
having a pale skin. So we
Oh.
have a lot of products. Actually, one of our episodes, we talk about how the Philippines have like products to whiten your skin.
Okay.
So there's a lot of that element. So you don't see that when you're wearing a specific, like I'm kind of, what do you call? Like brown in color.
Yeah.
But to me, when I was growing up there, I'm like, no, I need to be pale. So like, it's kind of crazy how you felt
Yeah.
being pale.
Yeah.
When to us, that's like
That's
beautiful.
like desirable.
Yeah.
Beauty standards
It's-
are so like
It's very much
everyone's-
cultural.
100%. Everyone's picture of beauty and like optimal
Mhm.
look is so different. And like, I think part of being confident is just realizing that you won't be everyone's cup of tea, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're the only person that has to spend forever in your mind and body,
Mhm.
and you're the only one that has to like it at the end of the day. And that's all that matters.
And you have to learn to fall in love
absolutely.
with yourself,
Yes.
right? It sounds
It sounds kind of corny.
Yeah.
But I do think it's very true. You definitely, because I've definitely like since probably that moment and throughout my adult life, because like when you're young and you're a teenager, you're still growing into your body. You don't know who you are. Everything's changing all the time. And when you're an adult, you have the opportunity to really settle into your skin and figure out who you are. And that is kind of where I began to fall in love with myself more or less.
I feel like it's an ongoing process. Like, do
Totally.
you really know who you are? Even to this day,
Yeah.
I ask myself, do I really know what I want? Do I
Yeah.
really know who I am? I'm still learning those pieces about me,
Yeah.
which is insane because you would think at this age, you would know what you want. But it's like an
It's
ongoing
an ongoing,
thing, right?
And at any point in your life, it's okay if you change your mind, if you change your values, if you change morals. Like, it's okay to change your mind about maybe I don't want this. Like, I thought I did. Maybe I don't. Now that I have it, I'm not sure. Like, it's totally okay to have these moments of like, I'm actually not sure if this is what I want anymore. And let's pivot or let's reassess.
Because we evolve, and that's completely
Totally.
fine. Like, the only constant is change. So it's crazy. How did you get into the modeling? Like, how did that come to mind? How did you?
Yeah, I think my first ever like big shoot was with a photographer named Kofi. Shout out to Kofi.
Kofi?
We did a shoot. So I think with modeling, I'm trying to think of how this all happened, but
like, were you always interested? Like, did you always wanted to be a model?
I mean, I think as a young woman, being tall, I've always been tall. You hear the stereotypical, oh my God, you should model. And like from a young age, my dad kind of kept me a little bit sheltered. He didn't let me do modeling because he saw the exploitation of young girls in the industry. And I thank him for that. I think that was a perfect choice. I'd probably do the same thing for my daughter if I ever have one, but
absolutely
kind of keep them sheltered from. His focus was always school. Like, do well in school, do well academically. When you're done doing that,
you can do whatever you want.
That's
exactly
fine.
what my parents told me.
He always said school first, then boys. Like, always school first.
So that was ingrained.
Yes, 100%. So I never put time or effort into like seeking out modeling seriously ever. And when I got into like the fitness side of things and began working with a coach for the first time, I think my goal was to step on stage in competitive bodybuilding.
And you did that.
I did that. But in the interim, before I got to that point, I did. So I'm trying to think I think the way this happened was I was working on my fitness and decided I wanted a goal that maybe wasn't as extreme as a bodybuilding goal, because you have to be very, very lean to do bodybuilding. But my goal in the interim was a photo shoot. Like, it's like still a date. It's still a milestone.
Right.
You can work towards it, and then great memories. So I did a photo shoot with Kofi at the time. And it was awesome. It was super fun. And he's also a great photographer, really great vibes. We got along so well. The hair and makeup was just so glam and so fun. And it was awesome. I think this was actually because it was like during COVID. I think my show might have been canceled or delayed or something. So the shoot was like kind of an interim thing, like goal to work towards. And then I realized that I really loved it. Like, I really had a lot of fun in front of the camera. I loved like the posing and the makeup and the hair, and I just found it so much fun. And it was just like, it was so cool. And so I did a few more, and then I came across Coco King on Instagram. At the time, she was working with a lot of bodybuilders, so a lot of like really shredded people, like right after their show, right before their show. And I wasn't in that ballpark yet. I was nowhere near that level of like leanness, but I really loved her artsy kind of Vogue like style. It was so beautiful. And so I booked a shoot with her, and we made a little trip out of it to go to Ottawa and do it. And then at this point, I'd done a few shoots. I was comfortable-ish in front of the camera. And then she just pulled me right out of my shell and made me even more comfortable in front of the camera. And
It's like an incidental.
Yeah, kind of like at this point, I already knew I liked it, but then I was just like, wow, this is actually
Another level
of like, because you
confidence.
see how much more you can do when you're not in your little bubble of comfort. When you go beyond that a little bit, when you're pushed,
I love it.
You're like, wow, I love this. This is so fun.
Wow.
So I've done so many shoots now, and I always enjoy it. It's shoot day is always so fun. It just my prep before the shoot now is quite different.
What does that mean?
Whereas like back then, I would like be dieting for a shoot. Tons of cardio, like making sure that on the day I was very lean. I was spray tanned, whatever it might be the case. Really? Now it's just when I do a shoot, I wake up, I go to my shoot. I have breakfast first because I am a hungry gal. And
you are a hungry gal.
I pack some snacks and I go. And it's just like where I'm at now with shooting and my comfort level in my body. It's just like it's what you see is what you get. I'm not going to diet down for a shoot anymore at this point in my life. I'd rather just show up as who I am and appreciate the beauty that comes with that than have to work towards a certain level of leanness or a certain physique to be in front of the camera. You can be in front of the camera at any shape or size.
That's right.
It doesn't matter. And that's kind of what I realized. And it's so much more fun doing a shoot when you're not like skinny and starving, when you are well fed and have had breakfast. It's so much more enjoyable.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, so much better.
Is that something that you've realized is something that is good for your health too?
Yes.
Or are you doing it for the shoot? Like, does that make sense? Like, is this something you applied in your life too and not just the camera? That's what I'm saying.
After my first bodybuilding show, I did 2 in like the same kind of time frame. I remember getting off stage. I won the overall. My coach was like, okay, you're gonna go do the next show. It was like the King Kong show in a few weeks. I'm putting you in this show too. It's like, great job. And I was like, no, actually, I think I'm done. And he was like, well, what do you mean? He was like, no, you did. You won the overall. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm done. I'm good. I've had enough. And like, I can't even explain to you, like, because it was this euphoric moment of winning, and I had these trophies and medals, and it was it was amazing. But I was like, okay, no, I'm good. I'm done. Because I know the suffering and the work that went into getting to that point was not sustainable at all, especially as a shift worker, a public sector employee. It was awful. And so I'm like, yeah, no, it's not for me anymore. And so I shifted my way of thinking away from that to be more like health focused. And over the years, it took many years to get away from that perspective completely. But now it's not only is it more healthy for me on a million different fronts, but also I feel like a lot of the time in shoots, when you feel good and you're like nourished from literally, it sounds cliche, the inside out, it comes through on camera. You're happier.
You can see it.
You move around better. You have more energy. Like, it's so much better.
But I love how you shifted to that mindset, because then that means you value your health.
Absolutely.
And that your priority is actually not bodybuilding, building, and it's actually the overall health of Jess versus the picture that this fitness building thing shows. It's like opposite your value.
Exactly. I think with modeling as well, I kind of did find that like bodybuilding itself it's a sport, and sometimes sports require extreme measures of various types. And I think with modeling, like I said before, you don't have to be any specific size to do photo shoots. And to me, I have so much fun doing photo shoots, and I realized that I don't have to be super, super small and starving to do these shoots. I can just show up one day and go do it, and it's like just as much fun, if not more fun, because I'm not exhausted and I'm not like having a hard time getting through it because I'm so tired and just depleted of energy. It's
and if your body tells you that, like, that something's not right,
absolutely.
If you're feeling that way, like something it's not right. But do you ever feel confident, even like, are there days when you don't feel confident even to this day, like not just modeling, but like in your everyday day to day?
I think everyone has moments of like not feeling great in your own skin. I think that's very, very normal, especially as women. I mean, like, women's hormones fluctuate so much day to day, sometimes hour to hour. Let's be honest. I can definitely say that, and my husband probably can agree.
I agree.
But I feel like you're going to have moments where you feel less motivated, you feel less confident, you feel maybe not so comfortable in your own skin. And and it happens to me too. There's certain things that I try and do to like fix that kind of mood. Like, it's okay to be in those moods, but I try and do things to make myself feel better.
What are example of those
some of them might be
things?
Like, put on your comfiest outfit. Something you feel great in, maybe a color that you like. Take an everything shower. I love an everything shower. Like,
everything shower?
Yeah, so that's like hair wash, shampoo, conditioner, whole body wash. Everything is shaved. Everything's
neat.
neat, tidy,
Yeah.
and you get out, you feel amazing, and then you just feel so clean. And then put on your comfy outfit or a outfit that you feel really cute in.
And it makes a difference
yeah.
showing up in the world.
Exactly. Honestly, a little bit of mascara, especially for me personally, goes a long way.
Yeah. Your eyelashes are so long.
Thank you.
Those are your normal
mascara.
lashes, right?
They are.
I ask you about those.
Yeah.
They're so long.
L'Oreal Telescopic. I've used it for years.
Link
but,
below.
Yeah. Sometimes I even like put on like a playlist that I like, whether it be like some EDM or something more upbeat, like a happy playlist, whatever it might be to flip your mood around.
Right.
Do that. Maybe it's go watch your favorite comfort show or movie, or if there's a book you really love or a video game you love, because I'm also a gamer, go play that for a little bit. Like things that bring you joy, find it and do it. And that sometimes fixes whatever mood you're in, whatever funk you're in. I had one friend actually that told me, I'll never forget it. He told me sunshine and fresh air are the cure to ailments of the mind, body, and soul.
Ooh, say that again.
Sunshine and fresh air are the cure to ailments of the mind, body, and soul.
I agree.
Yes. And so after this like advice of his, I went for a long walk this one day many months ago and felt so much better afterwards. It was so amazing. And I'm like, wow, that is great.
The basic things that you would have never,
Yeah, if you're ever in a funk, hydrate, go for a little bit of movement. It doesn't have to be anything intense. It can be a little walk. It can be do some stretching. Whatever.
Stretching is so good.
It's so good. Like sometimes I make like my daily to-do lists and it might be like groceries, gas, laundry, and then somewhere on there I'll put movement. Doesn't mean anything specific.
Right.
It's just whatever I feel like doing, whatever I get to that point in my checklist. If I feel like walking, if I feel like lifting weights, if I feel like do some stretching, whatever it is, just do it. And you feel better.
So I've always had this relationship with myself where I need to have my workout in and my breakfast in, and then I can sort of conquer the world type. Like, and it's good. It's good to have that routine. Prep and routine and non-negotiable habits. But I find now with shift work,
it's hard.
I listen to myself a lot now. Like, say, for example, this week, I'm going to work out 4 times a week. I'm not so hard on myself anymore if I can't fulfill that 4 weeks, because it's more so being compassionate with yourself.
Absolutely.
After a long shift.
Yes.
I used to be like, I'm a failure. Why did I not show up? Sometimes it's hard to show up.
It's so hard sometimes.
What do you say to women that are very hard on themselves when it comes to like attaining their goals, or like this is my to-do list and I wasn't able to do it? What do you say to women?
So coming from a background of bodybuilding, when I was like big into bodybuilding, it was you'd work out, you do your cardio every single day. Like there was no days off.
Every single day.
There was no exceptions. And I used to be like you. I would like start my day off with my breakfast and then my workout, and then everything else would come second to that in the morning. And nowadays, my workout fits in wherever I fit it in, if I can fit it in, because it's not my priority. Like movement is a priority, but there's things in life that take more priority over getting a workout in first thing in the morning. And maybe one day I'll go for a walk in the afternoon. Maybe one day I'll forget, or I'll be too busy, and like that's okay. And so I feel like a lot of that comes from, I think, consistency consistency looks different for everybody. For me, for a while, consistency was every single day, like 7 days a week. I'd be in the gym. I'd be doing cardio,
7
whatever.
days a week, yeah.
Whereas now consistency is I might lift 2 to 3 times a week. 1 week. 1 week I might work a whole lot and I might be traveling. I might lift 0 times, or I might lift once every couple of weeks, because it's just I'm consistently over the course of many years going to the gym and moving my body, but I may not be going every single day because life has other things in store for me, and that's totally okay. And so I feel like when people are hard on themselves for not getting their to-do list done, I think it's important to learn to listen to yourself, which I've recently kind of just learned myself even. When your body tells you to rest, take a rest.
That's right.
When your body tells you to go for a walk, do something active, do that. I think you have these urges for a reason, and it's okay to sometimes honor them as they arise. Because at the end of the day, the laundry will always be there. You can always do it again later. If you're putting off your laundry or your workout to hang out with and catch up with an old friend,
too.
That's totally fine. Like there's some things in life that will take priority, and that is totally okay. If for that day you're in a funk and you need to have a day in your pajamas watching your favorite movies, that's okay. That is totally okay.
Yeah, because I've met many women that are so type A.
Yeah.
And I'm saying
type A, definitely.
Right. But it's like, you have to find that balance, because then you're so hard on yourself.
You need to have a balance.
When you're so hard on yourself, that's toxic too.
You'll burn out. And like the way you speak to yourself, I think something I recently thought about was speak to yourself as if you would speak to your
Your
daughter.
kid, yeah.
Like, would you tell your kid they're being lazy because they didn't go for a walk
Mhm.
or because they didn't get a workout in? Like,
Mm.
absolutely not. Would you tell them
Mhm.
that they are a failure because they maybe didn't
Yeah.
get all their chores done because they
Mhm.
got busy playing with their friends or they got
Yeah.
busy, they fell asleep and had a nap? Like, no way. Like,
I
it's
agree.
all about balance. And sometimes balance looks like, going to the gym a couple days a week. And sometimes balance looks like taking a rest day and taking a lazy day in your pajamas and,
Mhm.
reading a
I know.
comfortable book all day and having a nap. Like, it always looks different. Same with like meals and like planning your meals, structuring
Yeah.
your meals. Like, sometimes balance is incorporating like tacos and burgers into your
So you're not
into your
miserable
rotation.
that you just
Exactly.
ate
Chicken and
salad
rice.
for the rest
Yeah.
of the week.
Yeah,
Like
and
just
especially with coming from
Yeah.
bodybuilding, like everyone's meals was always like chicken and broccoli, chicken and rice, like no seasoning, like no like sauces, like just boring, boring, boring. And I did that for so many years, and now it's like I'm glad I did it because it showed a lot of discipline and a lot
True.
of dedication. But I will never do it again
no.
because now I like coming home from the concert at midnight and having McDonald's Uber Eats to the house to meet us there like we did last night. Like that is, and like eating a burger
Yeah.
at 12:30 with my
Yeah.
husband after a great concert. That is just like,
Yeah.
it's so much more fun. It's so much more fun.
And I read
enjoyable.
about somewhere where our body's actually more resilient than we
Yeah.
think. So the 20-80 rule, I don't know if you heard about
Yep, definitely.
80% clean eating and then 20% just like splurging,
Yeah.
whatever you want. Like I 100% believe that is the way to go.
I agree.
Because you can't always be so strict and
I
you're
think
going to be
balance is
miserable.
so important.
Yeah. So when you did the bodybuilding, was there a part of you was just getting miserable as
I think
you progress?
it's a really weird, unless you've been in the bodybuilding world,
Mhm.
it's kind of like a cult. I will say it's kind of culty.
Culty.
It's kind of culty until you've like
Culty, I love that
until
word.
you've like been there. It's hard to really fully understand. But I think when you're working towards a goal, like a show, the stage, for example, there was nothing that could have made me deviate from my plan at the time. Nothing.
Mhm.
I went to 2 weddings while I was prepping for my bodybuilding show, and I packed my own food for these 2 weddings.
Excuse me?
I packed my own food in Tupperware
That you
containers.
cook from home?
Yes, because I was on a very strict macro meal plan, and that's like the norm for that's like the bodybuilding normal. That's what you do. You just
Yeah.
you stick to the plan. You don't deviate. Whatever.
Oh, so you didn't
And-
have fun that day, those 2 weddings?
I mean, I had fun, but
But it was like part of you was like, oh, that steak looks
that poutine
good.
bar looks so good.
Oh,
But when you're in that world and that's your goal and that's your mindset and that's your focus, nothing makes you deviate. Now, looking back on it, I probably wouldn't do it again. And I'm glad I did it and had that discipline, that structure. But now in my life, I so much more value having balance and having freedom. And I think with bodybuilding, there's a lot of issues that come in the community involving body dysmorphia and orthorexia, which is the obsession with clean eating. And
it's a thing.
It's so real. And there's
Yeah.
so many problems with eating disorders. And like one version of binge eating is like eating and then over exercising to compensate for the calories that you've consumed. And that's what is bodybuilders do. A lot of them athletes do, men and women.
Wow.
And it's not only talked about enough because it kind of is a dark side of bodybuilding, but I think it really highlights all the things that are not right in that kind of world. And for a period of time, it's okay to do like the structured dieting and the meal plan, but you
not
can't be
sustainable.
like that
It's not
24/7,
sustainable.
365. Like
No. You'll
couple
go
of
nuts.
weeks- you'll go nuts.
Yeah.
Couple of weeks, couple months, like, okay, maybe, but like I could not. I'm so glad now that I'm in a place where I have fully fixed, healed my relationship with food, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
And my like balance between fitness and the gym and eating, because
Yeah.
like there's some days where I still have I might go to a friend's house for dinner, or like before ordering takeout would like stress me the heck out, because how am I going to track these macros, this like chicken, these noodles, like, but now it's like no problem at all.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad I'm there because it's so much happier and like less stressful mentally. It's
Yeah.
less taxing. And I think until you're out of that world, you don't realize how taxing it is. And so anybody in that world still, bodybuilding's a great sport for certain people, for certain periods of life. But if you are just coming out of it and you are like worried about how to find balance again, you will find it. It took me years, but I found it.
Was there
But-
a period during that part of your life where you did had some, speaking with relationship with food,
Mhm.
did it skew, like, did bodybuilding skew your relationship?
Oh yeah, with myself, with food, big time,
Okay, so
big time.
there's a difference between, okay, this is what I have to do for this duration of time to get to where I want, but it was also changing, like, your mentality
Mhm.
around food. So that's interesting.
Yeah. So I
Yeah.
think back when I was doing that, it was a lot of counting macros, like 150 grams of protein, 150 grams of carbs, like your daily macro, whatever the count was. I have to stick with that count. And like the obsession of I'm having this for dinner, so which is like maybe it's heavy in fats and carbs, so I'll try and like eat less of that in the daytime to compensate for that. Like these kind of behaviors, like saving your calories and whatever, which is like, again, if you are needing to count your calories for whatever reason, fine, you can do that and it can help you attain your goals. But I think long term, that obsession it creates is not healthy either. And it was definitely an obsession for a while. And I think for me, when it came time to spontaneously order takeout or something, that would stress me out like so much. And that's when I was like, this is not healthy. This is not good. Like I shouldn't be worried about having takeout or having a meal out with my husband and worrying about what the macronutrient makeup of this meal is and how I'm going to track it.
In a better place now.
Oh, but it's like not even a thought in my mind. Not at all.
That's awesome.
Like it's, again, we got home at midnight and we ordered McDonald's.
Telling me.
I'd already been eating all day. It's not like I needed it, but I just really wanted it. And so that's what we did. And like, it's so nice to just, and like the thing about your body, like you said, your body is resilient. Like
it honestly is. You have to give it the right stuff, obviously.
Yeah. I think when you form a healthy relationship with food and exercise in your body, like you're so much healthier from the inside out that it shows. Like my gym performance has been great. Nothing has since stopping bodybuilding and strictly tracking everything and working out very strictly. I haven't really lost anything in terms of like progress or it hasn't really changed. I think I have more energy.
Maybe even better, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Overall.
Yeah. Funny thing is, actually, and this is what Trevor mentioned, I just thought about it now, but I've recently been featured in a magazine.
Yes.
I know you want to talk about
I wanted to talk about that. So Jess is actually in the Inside Fitness top 100 for 5th consecutive year.
Yes.
And this year you're top 4.
Top 4.
Jess.
Thank you.
That's amazing. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's okay.
I wanted to say that.
I knew you wanted to get there, I'm like, it was a good point to go there anyway. But
yes.
So I'm now top 4, which is a huge honor. I had no idea. You don't with the magazine, you don't know if you're in it or not until the night it comes out. So you have no idea if you're in it until the night it comes out, and then it came out. I think not this week, but 1 or 2 weeks ago. It came on a Tuesday night, and I was top 4, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, like what an honor.
That's amazing. Where were you before? Like, what were your ranking before?
I think in the previous years, they haven't ranked it beyond 5 or 10. So I was somewhere in the mix.
But 4 is like
4. When you're actually ranked, it's like, wow, okay, like it was very surreal, and it still kind of is a little bit surreal. But interestingly enough, Trevor had a good point. My husband, he said, interesting that this is the year you get number 4, and this is the year that you're probably the least hyper focused on training and dieting. And I was like, like,
wow,
my physical activities, and I have quite a variety of them, this past year have been all over the place, not structured, just kind of like, this is the year that I've had the most balance in my life.
Amazing.
And I'm top 4, and I'm like, wow. And so my first thought was, am I a fraud?
No.
But then he's like, no, it just means that, he's like, it just means that you're living this balanced life, and it shows from the inside out. And I was like,
it's amazing.
It was like, he said that, and I was like, oh my
like an epiphany.
Gosh. Like, I was like, you're so smart. This is why you're a doctor, because this is like, it was such a smart thing to say. But I was like, wow.
That's really surprising, because you know how doctors are very much logical and into science and very disciplined and very much into like
black and white,
but for him to say, like you're living your most balanced life right now, like I love that from him.
I think the good thing, one of many good things about Trevor is that he does pick up on these things. He knows me better than I think he knows me, and sometimes he says things like this that really surprise me, and I'm like, wow, like you really pay attention more than I give you credit for. So I think it was like, like you're so right, and he was saying it to be like, no, like you're just living a healthy, balanced, happy life. And I love that for you. And he was supportive of bodybuilding. He was supportive of the tracking and like the no
He
date
wasn't
nights, and he
against
was
it.
very much supportive
Yeah.
of that goal. He came to my show, like he was great about it. He drove me to Ottawa for the shoot with Coco. Like he's always been supportive
Love
of all
that.
these things. But he's been supportive of every chapter of my life and every version of me that he's got to meet throughout the years of us dating, for better or for worse.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
for him to notice that, I'm happier and more balanced, and overall just our life is so full now. It meant a lot. And like it's true, like this past year and a bit, we've traveled a ton. I've done a bunch of different sports and hobbies and had amazing food all over the world. And it's just like, and I'm so grateful to be in a spot where I can do all this
Yeah.
stress-free. Like it really does.
I love it.
It honestly makes me so happy to look back on. Like
Yeah.
the younger version of me worried about tracking my calories for Easter dinner while preparing for my bodybuilding show would have been so terrified, but like it's so freeing to be in the spot now versus where I was back then.
I love that.
Oh,
I love that you
too.
got out of that. What do you say to? Do you think social media has a big influence with how women with their confidence, and do you think there's any relationship to not feeling confident
Big time.
with social media?
Big time. Social media it can be a great tool, and I can get onto the good side of it in a minute, but it can also be a very not so great tool. And I think one example, I'll go back to it again.
Yeah.
When I was in bodybuilding, my feed and who I followed was tons of professional bodybuilders and friends in bodybuilding and
I remember that.
gyms and models, and like it was so focused on everything in that world.
And then you changed that.
And I changed it, and now I go through periods of like unfollowing, and like the beauty of social media is that you can tailor it to be whatever you
What you
want to
absorb. See.
And you can unfollow anybody, or you can refuse to follow someone back because you don't like their stuff or their content or what they post, and that is totally fine. And at any point, back to like the changing your mind thing, you can choose to unfollow somebody at any point if you want to. And I think I went through several periods where I would just unfollow a bunch of like pro bodybuilders, and I'd be like, why am I following them still? Like, I'm not in bodybuilding. I hardly really follow bodybuilding. Like, let's unfollow all these people, all these coaches, all these athletes, because like it doesn't serve me any purpose. And I started following some accounts that were more focused on like balanced lifestyle and healthy eating. And like there's one that I follow, I think her name is Natalie. I'll have to give you her link afterwards, but she is an eating disorder therapist, and I followed her for a while, and she talks a lot about like I haven't actually worked with her professionally, but I've absorbed a lot of her content over the years, and about how to navigate eating, especially when you're coming from a place of like restriction, like bodybuilding or like chronic dieting. And she really tackles the issue well, about how to like build structured snack plates or honoring your body's cravings. And she showcases parts of her life where she's just like, oh, it's like 11 o'clock at night, I'm hungry, so I'm going to honor that and have a snack. I'm not going to just go to bed hungry and deprive myself. Like she shows how to approach it in a healthy way instead of just depriving yourself. And I think following pages like that are their content is so good
for you.
It's so good for me, and like that made a huge difference.
They're realistic, they're sustainable, they're not restricting.
Yeah,
I love that kind of stuff.
I think I read a post recently, and this is how I knew my thinking had shifted dramatically. About it was like some bodybuilding coach or someone in fitness, and it was like talking about minding your intake of fruits. Like, don't eat too many fruits. And I was just like, what the hell is that? Like, what kind of advice is this? Like, in what world are we told to like don't eat too many fruits? I'm sorry, what?
There's a lot of that.
Maybe don't eat too many Sour Patch Kids. But like,
fruits.
I mean, fruits. Like, come on, everything in moderation. Like, why put content out there of like watch your fruit intake? Like, I think if the world ate more fruits, we would be a lot better off than we are.
With Sour Patch Kids.
With Sour Patch Kids, which I also have in my cupboard because I love them. But again, everything in moderation. But it's just like, I was like, what is this? And I like unfollowed him, and I was like, this is so dumb. Like,
but that's
like,
the thing.
Why are we crucifying fruits? Like, come on.
There's so many advices online. And here's the thing. We have to be careful, like you said, with who you're following, because there's so much information
and
online.
Conflicting information.
That's right. And you're like,
fasting, don't fast, do fast. Like, it's all over the place.
Yeah, it's like, I lost weight because I fasted, and you should do it too, but is it the right tool for you? Right? There's just so much information out there.
Cold plunges, infrared therapy. And I'm sure they all have benefits, time and place. Yeah. But personally, I hate cold water. You will not catch me in an ice bath first thing in the morning. I'd rather wake up with maybe an eye patch or
Yeah.
like some sunlight. I'm not getting in a cold bath. And like,
Yeah.
that's okay. Like I'm still perfectly healthy and living
Mhm.
my great life.
Yeah.
And I can avoid the ice cold water first thing in the morning. If that works for you,
That's
by all
right.
means do it.
It doesn't work for everyone.
Exactly.
Like how meditation don't work for everybody. Do you meditate, by the way?
I wish I wanted to get into it, but I can't shut my brain up enough.
Yeah.
I can't just like, I don't know. I know I need to look into it more and like actually learn I think it's a learned skill. I haven't learned the skill. I do want to learn it at some point. I think it'd be great to meditate.
Especially for busy minds.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just haven't learned it yet.
That's
But
okay.
I would love to.
That's okay. There's so much things to learn. That's a
Yeah.
good thing in life. Like you
Yeah.
can always learn a skill or something, right?
Absolutely.
But how does a Jess day look like? Like a typical Jess day when you're not at work? Like how do you wake up and how's your routine looks like?
So I wake up, first thing every morning is, besides feed my cats, is brush my teeth, wash my face. I just feel like awake that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always have breakfast in the morning first thing. And my usual breakfast is like Greek yogurt and frozen berries.
So healthy.
Because they're convenient and I'm not going to always have fresh fruit
Fast.
on hand. And some granola on it as well. And I love it. It's like my everyday breakfast. It's like a staple. And then
have your coffee. Are you a coffee drinker?
I am a coffee drinker. Yes.
I cannot live without. I think
No.
nursing school put me in that.
I'm only down to like one a day, which is pretty good. Like,
That's
one
pretty
a day
good.
is good for me.
Yeah.
So I'll have that with and then usually my morning starts with, I really love YouTube in the morning. It's like, this is like a guilty pleasure.
Me too.
I love it. This may be a secret. I love video games. I'm a gamer.
Yes.
I'm a big gamer.
You have a lot of hobbies.
I have a lot of hobbies. I have so many hobbies.
Yeah.
But one of them is video games. And I grew up playing games with my dad. We played like
Mhm.
Splinter Cell and like Resident Evil, like shooters when I was like,
Whoa, those
young.
are really
those are like video games.
boy
like,
games.
Yeah, I know. Not like Mario Kart. We played like legitimate like video games.
Wow.
So when someone's like, "Oh, do you play Mario Kart?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"No, I played like real video games."
And
Like,
you
come on.
enjoy it,
I
eh?
love it.
Wow.
But I grew up playing it, and so it was just like it was fun. And so as I've gotten older and, during school and busier parts of life, I haven't been able to play video games because I'm too busy and it's not a priority because, work and school and life things come first.
So now your YouTube is part of your routine now,
I'm able to watch like video game content, the latest news, upcoming releases, like stuff like that. And I love that kind of content. I love it. I think it's just like, it's a great way to eat my yogurt in the morning, absorb some like content about the latest video games, like the latest video game, like conferences, like the news. I love it. I love it so much. And of course I still use YouTube for like educational reasons. So sometimes I'll look up like a topic that came up at work that I wasn't as familiar with. I might look it up on YouTube. It's a great tool.
So it's a great tool. There's so much content in YouTube that
like, please think, I don't just absorb video game content from YouTube. I also use it for good, not evil, like education purposes.
You can do both with balance.
Exactly. Balance. Yeah. And I do both, but that's how my morning normally starts is like breakfast, coffee, YouTube, like just, and like, I love my morning quiet time. I love it.
It's so important.
Yes. And like, even when I work day shifts, my routine is the exact same. My breakfast is a little bit smaller and my YouTube consumption period's a little bit shorter. It's like only like 10 minutes.
But you still, it's part of
my like, that quiet time that, sip your coffee, have your breakfast.
That's right.
Alone time is so important to me. And then I start my day. So work days, obviously I go to work, but when I'm off, it could be anything like go to the gym. It might be
go for a walk.
Go for a walk on the treadmill. Go outside if it's nice. Go walk outside. Go do groceries. Any appointments that I have, like nail appointments or waxing, go to those. Like visit friends. It honestly depends on what I have going on that day, but my morning routine is almost always the same.
It sets you in the right direction.
Exactly. And then however I tackle the day, depends on what the plans are for that day. I think in a perfect world, it would be like maybe like gym or social plans. Or like normally, realistically, it's like errands, groceries, like, the catch-up tasks.
Everybody needs those errands in their day,
And that's okay. And then, in the evenings, I'm finding a passion for cooking these days. So make a nice meal for Trevor and I.
Do you meal prep like before or like a little bit less now?
A little bit less, a lot less.
So you're more spontaneous cooking now. You just cook
definitely.
whatever comes to mind.
Sometimes I'll look at recipes. I really like Half Baked Harvest and her.
What's that?
It's she's an Instagram page,
Ooh, send
and
me.
also she has a cookbook, and she has great recipes on there and like a lot of variety. Like a lot of, I'm really into like Asian cuisine these days. So
Ooh, like we had the pad thai.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So she posts tons of stuff like that. I made a really great pot roast from her. I made like really good like orange chicken. Like I like finding a recipe, going to the store and getting everything I need for the recipe, then making it. It's just so fun and like kind of therapeutic.
It definitely is like gardening,
Yes.
right? Cooking is one of those things where it's like working out. Like it's so
Yeah.
mindful.
You're so focused. Yeah.
And
So
instead
that's
of being
nice.
in like social media and scrolling, which I'm very guilty
Oh,
about.
I am too.
Right?
You get into those like loopholes of like you're scrolling and scrolling.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, it's been like an hour, and you're like, oh my gosh, like where'd the time go?
It's so easy to just get into that, you know. Another question I had in mind is, do you feel that with the Jess now and the Jess before, how proud are you
I'm so
of
proud.
yourself?
I'm so freaking proud.
Yeah.
I think it takes, you have to kind of appreciate where you've come from to fully appreciate where you are now. And I think when I really think back about where I was and where I came from, and this talking about it has made me realize it more. You appreciate the progress.
This is therapeutic, isn't it?
It is therapeutic. Yes.
I love it. Okay.
Yeah, you appreciate.
It's not stressful for you.
No,
this is
not at all.
therapeutic.
This is yes, I'm happy to talk about it.
Excellent.
It really kind of makes you appreciate, like, wow, like it was a lot harder before, and a lot of like silent struggles or just not talked about struggles with the public. That looking back on it now, I'm so glad I overcame it and did the work
that we do
within myself and the work that we do to get to where I am now. And my life is so much more full than what it was before. And I'm just so glad. Because when I stopped bodybuilding, I picked up hobbies like Krav Maga, which is like a martial art form.
Oh, you did that?
Yeah.
Are you still doing it? Or you stopped?
I'm still doing it.
You're still doing it.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm a red belt in Krav Maga, and I made some amazing friends in that class. Like people that are just so vibrant and full of life, and like really, really, really good friends of mine now, which I'm very grateful to say I have in my life. Shout out to you guys.
Shout out.
You know who you are. And it honestly has been like amazing. And I think also a martial art as a woman is so empowering because you feel so protected. And like Trevor and I went on a trip we traveled a little bit since I started martial arts a couple of years ago. And whenever we have traveled, I felt you do feel so much more confident and secure when you know a little bit about how to kick some ass. It does give you that. And it's sexy. It's kind of sexy.
Gives you that edge.
Yes, exactly. Like you really do feel like,
well, like you can defend yourself if something is to happen.
Yourself, a little bit. And so when I stopped bodybuilding, I had more energy and I was eating more and I was just living a better, more full life. Yeah. I had energy and time to put into this new hobby, and I'm so glad I did. And then from there, I started rock climbing with these same group of people, and it's like rock climbing is so much fun, and so again, so empowering and so challenging, but so rewarding when you do come over those really difficult climbs. And I've still stayed involved in weight. I still lift weights frequently. I still, do cardio of some sort to help my cardiovascular health. But nothing insane like
nothing
it was before.
Insane like
and
before.
It's honestly, it's like some days I might just lift weights and go for a little walk, and that's it. Other days I might do nothing, or I might just go for a walk, or I might just lift weights, and like that's totally okay. I'm not strict about it at all, and I love that I have that balance now.
What do you say to women out there who really struggle with their confidence and being in their own skin? It's a hard question, but I feel like you have to start somewhere.
I think what I would say is you are your own home, and you're the only person that has to spend forever in your brain and your body. So especially mentally, make it a really good place to be. And it's not going to happen overnight. It might take months or years. But I think also, don't ever let anyone dim your sparkle as well. There's been people, I'm sure, in your life, and I've had some in my life, who try and like put you down, whether it be, a crappy ex-boyfriend or a crappy friend. Don't let that happen, and don't take that crap from anybody. I never will ever again. And just remember that you are fully in control of the content you absorb, the way you view yourself, and the way you put yourself out in the world. And at any point, if you want to change it, you can change it.
And how you talk to yourself too.
And how you talk how you make your mental space, that space you create for yourself is totally in your control. Yeah. And you're going to have good days and bad days. I think I think hearing that it's normal to have good days and bad days makes a big difference. I think it's it's okay. We're human. We're going to have moments where we're not feeling so great. And I think how you navigate those moments is what really matters. So whether it's you give yourself some compassion and go put on some comfy clothes and go do an activity that makes you happy, like whatever makes you happy. Sometimes when I feel crappy, I think to myself, what brings me joy? What would bring me joy right now? Is it reading a book? Is it, watching a show? Is it a video game? Is it going for a walk? Is it
Go to the
YouTube?
gym, maybe.
Go to the gym, whatever.
Yeah.
And whatever it is that I think would bring me some joy, I'll go and do it. Even just a little bit. And then over time, normally you feel a little bit better.
Like practice those things every day until it becomes like a
100%.
habit, right?
Yeah.
What is your number one, you think, wellness tip for? I'm sure you have a few.
I got a couple.
Yeah.
I'm not big on like I have like some overall wellness tips I've learned. I don't have any like ride or die, you must take the supplement. But I think one of the things I've learned over the years through shift work is that sleep is so important.
Detrimental.
So important. And lack of sleep can be, like you said, detrimental. And I think sleep is a hard one because it can be hard to turn off your brain. If you're a shift worker, it can be hard to get into that routine. I've been there and it's so hard sometimes.
Yeah.
I think establishing somewhat of a routine at bedtime is really important. There's been times in the past where I just can't turn off my brain. And I've done this almost like a mental game where I like picture myself putting all my thoughts into like a vault and like closing it and locking it and being like, I will get you guys in the morning. And then going to bed. Your thoughts are still there. They're just like, they're trapped away until the morning, and you'll go in the morning and you'll sift through them then. Like it's sleep time. That sometimes is helpful. Sometimes writing them down helps as well. So you can circle back to them in the morning.
Do you journal actually?
I did for a little bit actually, but I do sometimes keep like my phone near my bed, and I can, or a pen and paper, and
just write
down thoughts that you want to, like things you want to talk about or think about in the morning. Another tip that I have for wellness probably will be movement of some sort, whether it be
so important,
a walk or a workout or like literally anything.
Dancing even in your living room.
Absolutely. Like some sort of movement. And it doesn't have to be anything intense. It doesn't have to be like heavy deadlifts or heavy squats. It can be like as simple as a kitchen dance party.
Or stretching.
A stretch, gentle stretching. Like it can be anything.
Because then it gets you out of your head too, right? And
those endorphins are real.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Creative, like having a creative side or a creative outlet, whether it be like
a podcast,
like a podcast, or all this beautiful jewelry, or if you're into painting or drawing or journaling or pottery. For me, it's probably like I go through phases of baking and cooking. That's like a creative outlet for me. Being creative in like video games, like having like time to play and be creative is
in your photo shoots.
Photo shoots. Oh my gosh, yes, exactly. Like having outlets like that are a creative side of things as well is super helpful.
Lights up your soul. I feel.
It really does. It's like
makes your soul alive, feel alive, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, I've recently learned the power of saying no and being like, and not overfilling your schedule. I think is really helpful too, because I'm guilty of having done that and always being a yes person, a yes woman, a yes man.
I've never thought that, because now you're very much like, I find you're very much like, if it's not for me,
it's not for me.
It's not me.
I love that. That's a learned skill. It comes from like being confident enough to know that my friends are my friends because they love who I am as a person.
That's right.
And I'm not going to break their heart if I say, I actually can't get coffee today because I really need some time to myself. They're going to be like, no problem. Absolutely fine.
Those are the true friends.
And if your friends, if your friends don't think that's a good excuse, they are not your true friends. You should always be able to be like, I got to bail. I need some time to myself to, do my whatever wind down routine. Like if people don't support that, then they're not your true friends. Yeah. So the power of saying no is what I've learned. And as well as like, again, with friends like that, like positive social circles that have the same kind of beliefs as you.
I was going to say.
It's so important.
I was going to say, now I'm starting to really get myself out there and really develop these friendships who I think I vibrate the same frequency with. Because you have to surround yourself with people that like makes you feel better and makes you do better. So like you said, developing those healthy circles.
And like, because who you are surrounded with, eventually you will adapt habits of theirs, whether it be positive or negative. So you want to be able to adapt the positive habits, the positive self-talk, maybe the silliness, the laughing and joking around. Like I have so many friends that I leave a social event with them or a social encounter with them, and I just feel so happy and like vibrant because they just are so uplifting and positive and hilarious, and it just makes my heart so happy to have friends like that in my life.
Are there any moments that it did the opposite for you? Like
Yes.
friends that drain you, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you've had experiences like that.
And I think when you walk away from those social interactions, if you can identify that that was really draining, and maybe that's a person that you might spend a bit less time with in the future, that's a good thing too.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you can at least prevent yourself, and there's sometimes you can't avoid it.
No.
You've been friends forever.
Yeah.
You see them once in a while.
Yeah.
But like if you can, see them and maybe in smaller doses.
Yeah.
That's okay.
In healthy doses,
Healthy
small
doses,
doses.
that's okay. Like that is totally fine.
No.
But identifying, like, it's
Yeah.
important to walk away from an interaction and see how you feel. Do you feel like lighter and happier, or do you feel kind of drained and kind of weighed down? That says a lot, I think.
With like the people you surround yourself
Yeah.
with. I feel like everything is vibrational. I have
Totally.
energy,
Yeah.
and that's why I do Reiki work as well. I
Yeah.
don't know if you've heard, but everything is just, I don't vibe with that person, or like I feel a different
vibes are
vibe.
off.
Everything is energy. Like
Yeah.
that light, everything we're doing is all energy based, right? So I'm so glad you can do this podcast today, Jess. Thank you so much. I have so much questions.
On the note of message for women, I did write down actually.
Yeah.
I should probably mention it.
Sure.
Trust your gut, because female intuition does not lie. It doesn't lie.
I love
If a
that.
situation or a person gives you, again, the vibes,
The ick.
the vibes are off. If you
The
get the
vibe.
ick, trust it. Trust it, because there's a reason you have that feeling. There's
I-
always a reason.
I agree. And even with not just the social piece of it, even at work,
Yes.
if you feel like, as nurses, if you feel like
If you're nursing,
Something's-
something's off, but you don't have tangible evidence as to why you feel that way,
trust it.
trust it, and maybe be like, hey, to your colleagues,
Mm.
I don't have, like, the vitals might be fine and the labs might be fine, but like
Mm.
the patient seems different. I've had them for a few days. They seem different. And like more often than not, like this happened to a colleague of ours on Tuesday, the patient seemed different and was acting different and there was something else going on, and she was right. Something was going on. But I feel like it's important to trust your gut. And even if there's nothing tangible to go off of yet, it's a stepping stone to investigating what maybe is going on.
And a lot of the times,
And if you're wrong, you're wrong. But a lot of the times you're not. There's something
I
going on.
agree. Women are like, we have this like spidey senses
Definitely.
that are like,
100%.
and men are probably, you guys are
Crazy.
more
I've
intuitive.
I've seen the memes of like women are like the FBI. Like, it's true. We will find out anything.
So true.
We'll find it out.
We're scary like
we
that.
We are. Yeah. It's very true. Like,
I meant to ask you actually one more question.
Yeah.
What is your skincare like? Your
my
skin is
skincare.
amazing.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Actually, honestly,
Give us tips.
now that you mentioned that, so I think about a year ago, I was struggling hardcore with hormonal acne, like here, like on this, like my jaw, and like in front of my ears. It was like, it felt like no matter what I was doing, I was constantly having these breakouts, and like not just little pimples, but like cystic pimples, like deep under my skin,
Ooh.
like really uncomfortable, so annoying.
And this is new? Like you
It was
never
new,
had
like a
before?
year ago,
Yeah.
and I was self-conscious because I can't see the side of my face, so I don't know how it looks. I hope it looks fine, but like I never knew, right? And I knew something was there, I could feel it, whatever. And so I had to change my whole routine and find something that worked for me. So what I'm doing now, I'm doing it for about a year, and I think also with it came like my healthier lifestyle, my more balanced lifestyle, probably healing from the inside out made a big difference as well. But I cleanse in the morning with Vichy Normaderm, so the Vichy skincare line. I use that in the morning and in the evening. In the evening, I double cleanse with the CeraVe benzoyl peroxide cleanser. The benzoyl peroxide.
Double cleansing mean? Like,
What's that, sorry?
what does double cleansing? Like two different types of cleanser?
Yes, I'll do one cleanse with Vichy, rinse it off, and then one cleanse with the benzoyl peroxide. The Vichy one is more like it really washes, it like lathers and washes off like
I
dirt.
love the
and,
lather.
Like, me too. I love a good lather. It washes off like the dirt and like the dust, makeup, whatever from the day. And the CeraVe benzoyl peroxide helps. The benzoyl peroxide ingredient really helped me clear my acne up. So my own, like, I have a spot treatment. It's Neutrogena. It's a benzoyl peroxide ingredient. That's what works for me. So that's why I went and got this cleanser, and I've used it in the evening as my second cleanse step. Just a really, really quick cleanse. Nothing intense. But that has helped keep my skin looking pretty good. I still get the occasional breakout. That's totally normal. But my moisturizing routine. So in the daytime, I will use the CeraVe. It's like an SPF day moisturizer.
It's important.
It's really important.
SPF.
So yes, very important. Trevor got me on to SPF skincare with him being.
He did.
Yeah, with him having like the facial plastics background, he was like, "You have SPF on." I was like, "Okay, yeah." So that's my daytime moisturizer. In the winter months, I've noticed though that I'm getting a little bit more dry, so I will layer that with a Neutrogena Hydro Boost cream or like a cream
Gel?
moisturizer. It's like a gel
Is
cream.
it like the blue?
Yes, the blue jar with like the
I've used that before.
white lid.
Yeah,
So that goes on top of it because I just need a little bit more moisture in the winter months, I'm finding.
So
And
dry.
then in the evenings, it's the same thing. So the double cleanse, and then I will use just Neutrogena, not the daytime SPF.
You don't use any of those like serums,
Nothing.
vitamin C, whatever, hydro. I don't know what else is out there.
At one point, I like had a whole collection from like The Ordinary of like vitamin C and like niacinamide and like I don't know, caffeine.
You don't
and
have all
these
those
Not
things
anymore. It's like my routine is so simple. Sometimes less is more.
It's so true.
Yeah.
And everything in life too, right?
Yeah.
Like if you have so much on your plate, maybe reassess.
Yeah.
I have too much, and you can accomplish
100%.
so much more with less priorities. I find
with saying no.
with saying no
Saying
and
no.
balance.
Yes. And being like, I need a day to myself. I need a day to do my errands, whatever it might be, to catch up on, just self-care. Like that's okay. But yeah, skincare is very simple. I don't use a whole lot of fancy stuff. And everything's very like drugstore, affordable, like nothing
fancy, like $300.
My makeup is like very simple. Like it's all like drugstore makeup. Honestly, nothing crazy. I just I don't want to spend the money on it.
No,
Why bother?
I think people
overdo it, overcomplicate it. Yeah.
Again, going back to social media and how like, oh, I better buy this one because it looks like it gives better result, but do you really need it?
Or like if some celebrity that they really, really love is like promoting, I don't know, Neutrogena, like what people don't always realize is, and what I've learned after being in the industry is that like anybody can say, Abby, I want you to do a photo shoot and have a sponsorship deal with Neutrogena.
Right.
And so that requires you to post about them and do photo shoots with us for their products. That doesn't mean you actually use their products, though. That just means that they've paid you to market these products.
Doesn't mean you're actually using it.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So sometimes you see your favorite celebrity marketing Neutrogena or La Roche-Posay, which are both great brands. I just throw them on the top of my head because I use them both. It doesn't mean they actually use them. It doesn't mean that because this product gave them their skin, it'll give you the same skin. That is not the case. And people sometimes don't understand that, but the marketing world's very tricky that way.
See, you said the same word, tricky.
Yeah.
There was actually, I don't know if it was Kim Kardashian or something that, I'm not entirely sure if it was her that actually admitted that, like I just got paid to promote, but I'm not necessarily. And people are like, well, why like it gives us mixed messages.
Yeah, what's the transparency?
Yeah, like are you just doing it to get paid?
Funny enough, actually, and I recently was offered a sponsorship deal with some supplement company.
You are?
I was. And they said, in exchange for this deal, and this is like what we give you, this is your monthly stipend of money, it'd be this many shoots and blah, 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 blah. And you have to post so many times on your page about the brand and the products and whatever. And I actually was like, no, because I'm not going to promote this brand on my page that I don't use because I don't use supplements. Wow. And so the shoots would be fun. Yeah. And I like photo shoots, but like, there's no benefit to me or to anybody of my followers seeing me posting about their protein powders or their pre-workouts if I don't actually use it. Like, I'm not promoting it. And basically, I was like, thank you so much for the consideration, but I don't think it's going to work for me because I'm not going to promote things I don't actually use or believe in.
Wow.
And they're like,
good for you,
okay,
Jess.
thank you.
Good for you.
They were understanding. He was like, no problem. That's very fair. Thank you for being honest. I'm like, yeah, thanks for asking. I appreciate the offer, but
if you come across like a great company that you absolutely love, would you say yes?
I might.
But a sponsorship?
Like I might, but I think I don't use a lot of products. Like I really don't use pre-workout. I don't use
like electrolytes and those things, post-workout, pre-workout.
Honestly, I think if you're eating, if you're feeling your body properly and you're eating well, you don't really need all that stuff anyways. Like you don't need the BCAAs, the EAAs, the
so much out there.
Like it's a supplement. Like I use protein powder in my Greek yogurt because I don't often get enough protein in the day, and I like the way it tastes. It's chocolate flavored. My yogurt tastes better. It's awesome. But I don't count my protein anymore, so it's not like I'm using it to hit a goal. I'm using it to supplement because I know that I want a bit more protein in my breakfast. To save me for longer in the day.
But you don't do all those extra.
But I used to have like a cupboard full of it of when I was in bodybuilding, all the different vitamins and supplements and whatever. I like all that stuff, and I would have happily done a deal with them at that point. But at this point, it's like no. And also, I think for your personal Instagram page, I want to be able to post whatever the heck I want to post.
That's right.
And I don't want to be governed to having to post once a month, once a week, whatever their recommended limit is. I want to be able to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Because sometimes I won't post for a while, months.
Mm.
Other times I'll post several weeks in a row.
Right.
It's all over the map. I don't want to have to follow
You would have full
their
control.
schedule on my personal page. That's not something I want to do.
Yeah, that's
so.
like your freedom of speech. That's like
Absolutely.
your own personal space,
Yeah.
right? But you must take supplements like vitamin C, like some basic stuff.
Yeah, so vitamin
What do you
wise,
take?
I take vitamin D, especially in the winter months.
Yes.
Being in Canada, I take
Very
vitamin
important.
C again because it's winter and I don't want to get sick.
Mhm.
Vitamin D, vitamin C,
B?
and omegas.
Oh, they're so good for
Mhm.
brain.
Yes, brain health.
Like fish oil and all that
Yeah.
stuff is good. I just recently started taking them too, but
Yeah.
it helps me during night shift to focus, I find.
It helps with. I did it for like the brain health benefits.
Yeah.
There's some benefits with muscle recovery and
Mm.
whatnot, but I did it mostly for brain health. The
Mhm.
omegas. I don't eat a ton of fish. I find I'd like to, but I don't often. It kind
The
of ebbs and flows. Like
mercury
I
and
have some
stuff.
weeks where I'm good with tons of fish,
Yeah.
other where I'm just not really at all. So I think
Uh-huh.
having that supplement
Yeah.
year round is nice to have.
But I love fish. I just feel like we don't get fresh fish.
Yes.
If I live in like the Greek islands, I
Yeah.
probably have
Oh,
fish
yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
The Mediterranean.
Yes. Oh, that'd be really nice.
Oh, Jess, this has been amazing.
Thank you.
Just maybe one last question.
Yeah, absolutely.
If there's one message or one word you wanna say to the younger Jess or like the women that are watching, what would that be?
It's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question. I would say if you are currently, and this is kind of speaking to the younger Jess / women that are watching,
Mhm.
if you're currently feeling like you are stuck or not really totally sure about what is next,
Mm-hmm.
just try putting one foot in front of the other.
Mm.
Because the more you keep doing one foot in front of the other and what feels right, the sooner you'll get to your goal. And I think the big turning point for me was when another bodybuilding show didn't feel right. And I was like, no, I'm done. That was the first step in the direction of leaving that community and getting towards where I am right now.
And you're in a
So-
much happier,
So much better.
better place.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have you back in the show.
I would love to.
You have so much insight, and I hope you had fun today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And Jess, we're going to have her link down below. Coco King Photography is also an amazing photographer, so I'm sure she wouldn't mind having her link below if you guys love photography and anything arts. Again, thank you for watching the show, Jess. Thank you for being here. We will see you on the next episode. Please support, like, and subscribe. I really love when you guys give me feedbacks, and we do read your comments. And if there's anything you would like to hear, any topics that like, Abby, I want you to talk about this specific topic, like, please, like, give us a shout. That helps our community, that helps my page to grow even more.